Good morning.
Police are here.
Welcome to the Berry County Committee of the Whole meeting for February 21st, 2023. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Limited public comment at this time. Any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes. Enter and sign in, please.
You like the long version or the short version?
Long version.
Long for real?
Sure.
Oh my!
3
I'm not a
minutes.
very good talker, and not a very good speaker, but I'm Doug Kleitz from Pine Lake area, Prairieville Township. I know you guys heard a lot about Pine Lake. And 3-4 years ago, it was a huge problem with the high water. And myself, I've lost many trees, paid lumber guys to come in and cut them down, and thousands of dollars. It's not cheap. A lot of the trees have just fallen on their own in parts of my property. Many of them close to shore or high water that we put in there to keep it off our roads, which we've had up to 18 inches of water on our road. Wintertime it freezes. Summertime kids play in it. It's over the top of sewers. It's over the top of wells. Huge environmental problem, I think. The kids alone playing in it's kind of scary. Anyway, supposedly there's a court order on this thing to get it around or keep the lake level, low lake level at 890.5, and there's other people fighting against us on the lake, wanting to put this project down to have some kind of control on our lake. On our road alone, on Island View Drive, it's on the north side of the lake. We have probably half of the residents, and it's a dead end. It's probably 12 households on the lake, and I think half of them are probably over 60, where we couldn't get emergency vehicles down the road in the winter. And, I mean, we've had people try to go through, wreck their motors, break their brake lines in the car, have them hauled out, all kinds of problems with the ice, besides a slip factor for elderly people or even young people. I can go on and on about this stuff, but I mean, it's a Bernstein adventure for the lawyers to come in and get a lot of money. I mean, it's a lawsuit waiting to happen. So, but I mean, I would like to see the level. I know there's particular people that are against this, and I think could be a happy medium to try to get it at a respectable level where people don't have to have sandbags on their shore and run pumps constantly in their crawl spaces and basements and whatever. But I went out probably 3 weeks ago and got, within 30 minutes, I had 90% of the people on my little street, which is, like I said, about 12 residents. Some were gone out of town or don't live in the area, but I've got like 90% of the signatures from the people. They're all for this, so we need to move on it. I mean, it'd be nice to get.
Your 3 minutes has expired.
Oh, I'm sorry.
There is another public comment at the end of our meeting, so you can continue at the end of the meeting if you'd like. There's another opportunity to finish.
Well, I think I got my point across, hopefully.
We got you. We do.
I'll probably be back, probably get to know each one of you. But I'd like to get this squared away.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much.
Is there additional public comment? Hearing none, we will move ahead with our agenda. First up, Michael Brown.
Did we ever approve the agenda?
Not for cows. That's for BOCs.
Good morning. I don't have to speak quite as loudly. Yeah, this is a request to renew my employment agreement with the county. It's a request to renew it for 2 years, which would be 23 and 24. Typically, I would have done this last year at the end of the year when it expired, but knowing that there was a new board coming on and I guess more so with the significant number of board members that was changing, as well as the leadership on the board, felt it was maybe more appropriate to let it lapse and then give a little bit of time for the board to work with me, if you may. And so I'm bringing it to you now to ask for renewal of that agreement for 23 and 24. Excuse me. I've provided a black-lined copy of the agreement. The items that are being removed are strike-through, and then the items that are being added, language being added, is highlighted. Primarily, as you go through the agreement, page 1, of course, the date and contract term have changed. The consideration, previously they were 3-year agreements. This is just a 2-year request. So the language gets struck a little bit. And then what I've applied for compensation is the same amount or same increase that all other employees have received, at 2% each year. So my contract historically has followed with what the other employees receive throughout the county. So thus the 2%. The additional consideration on page 1 is unchanged. And if you have questions, I know this is maybe new to some of you, so don't hesitate to stop and ask. On page 2 of 3, the only change is that the amount that's allocated for dental optical for 2023 and 2024 has changed. Again, that's consistent with what we've included in all of our bargaining agreements and for non-represented employees. And then page 3, just the title of the board chair has changed. And then just for your information, I've also included a copy of my position description. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Michael?
I think we ought to change this to a 5-year contract.
I was going to go 10-year contract, but 5 would also be acceptable, so.
Just for I appreciate that vote of confidence, but for information's sake, the by law can't be any more than 3 years. So the concept there, and I think the concept is that way a board can't tie a future board to a long-term agreement that that future board may or may not want. And I understand that, so.
Commissioner Hatfield.
Minor point on page 1, under contract term, there is a written out 3 that needs to be struck so that this contract will be for a period of 2 years.
I saw that. I was hoping he wouldn't notice.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we weren't going to bring that up.
I'll
The
make that
problem is it's
correction.
cancelable by either party,
Oh,
so it doesn't
there
do
you
us
go.
any good,
Yeah.
even though the thought's there.
Further questions for Michael? Okay.
I did. The annual salary, you said it has what it was in 2020, and then it was 2%, then raised then in 2021, in 2022, and now 2023, and 2024. Is that what you're?
That's correct. So, yeah, it does, and I apologize, I see what you're getting at. You don't know what the what 2022's amount is.
Trying to confirm that number was correct.
Yeah, and I can, probably the best thing, if it's okay, is I'll have Dave Jackson, the chair, confirm with payroll.
Okay.
That, because it did the same thing in 2020, it was set, and then it just followed in 21 and 22. So what we'll have, if that's appropriate, is you can confirm with payroll that progression that Mark's asking for to confirm that the 131,709 is in fact,
We can have it for the BOC next week.
yeah.
Perfect.
We can do that right after the meeting.
Okay.
And then we'll have that available.
Further questions?
Motion to move this to the full board.
Okay, the chair would entertain a motion to recommend to the Board of Commissioners approval to renew the employment agreement between Berry County Board of Commissioners and the Berry County Administrator for a 2-year period commencing on January 1st, 2023, ending on December 31st, 2024. Moved by Smelker, supported by Hatfield. All those in favor, or discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Next up, a resolution for Michigan Association of Counties, basically a resolution for the Michigan Association of Counties. So honoring them for their, if I can find that, establishing, oops, that's the land bank, so
At the very end, it happens to be their 125th anniversary.
125th anniversary. They've asked us to do a resolution supporting, honoring the Michigan Association of Counties. That letter was attached in your packet. Hopefully you've got a chance to read through it. Nothing too out of the ordinary for what we've done in the past.
No, in fact, just for those that, again, are new, the Michigan Association of Counties is the organization that represents counties at both the state, and primarily at the state, but also at the national level. There is a there is a National Association of Counties. We have not been a member of that or participated, and I think that's a little less, or a little more common. Some of your larger counties get involved with national, but that being said, the Michigan Association of Counties is our advocate, our lobbying agent, and they have done an excellent job over the years. I've worked with them now for 28, 29 years, and without them, we would not have a voice. As you can see in the resolution, they began in 1898 as the Association of Supervisors, when township supervisors were the Board of Supervisors, and now are the Association of Counties. There are 2 conferences a year. One will be coming up shortly, and that is the Legislative Conference that occurs in Lansing. And then there's one in late summer, if I remember, into the fall, that will occur, kind of moves around the state. I encourage anybody that's interested to attend. I can tell you that it's important to the Michigan Association of Counties to hear from you. They're out kind of fighting on your behalf, and it goes a long way when they hear from time to time, and that's why I think it's important to do these. They're kind of simple and small, but again, it goes a long way to say, hey, we value what you do, and it's important. I hope, don't take it too much for granted, but sometimes do. But revenue, any increases in revenue sharing that we receive when it comes to ARPA funds, and certainly right now with the federal funding that's flowing to the state. The state is looking at how to disperse that, and if we're not at the table, there's no voice for us. So I'll stop there and try to answer any questions, but they've been a good partner over the years, and I would recommend that we recognize their 125 years.
Absolutely. Questions?
Michael, do you represent us in this here, or is it commissioners?
So this is your organization.
Okay.
That's a great question. No, this is your organization. I serve on one of the committees as a liaison. I'm not a voting member. I'm involved with the transportation. My administrator organization has asked me to be a liaison to that board. But no, this is your, the organization that represents county commissioners. It's a legislative organization, if you may. And there are opportunities, if you're interested, to get involved in the committees with MAC and attend their meetings. So, great question.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll probably have information on the legislative committee, because I thought it was in February or March. There's a lot of breakout sessions, a lot of education, you learn a lot. They bring in some very good speakers that kind of give you the tea leaves on what's happening with the economy in Michigan, growth opportunities and things, so. Good opportunity, and it's nice to see them as almost our lobby group as far as how we work together, so.
They really are. Yeah, I have about as much interaction with them probably as any, because when they're getting ready to go to Lansing and talk about an item, they're looking to administrators to get background information about what the counties and that do. But when it comes to the big items, there's a MAC board, which are representatives made up of you and your peers. And at the conferences, it's a great opportunity to connect with them and start to build those relationships, because that's really when it's issues are important, who your legislators, our legislators want to hear from you all, not me. They
Absolutely.
value the detail that I provide, but they recognize that you represent constituents, so it's your organization.
Further questions? Okay. The chair would entertain a motion, oops.
I was just going to provide the motion that you
Okay.
entertain.
The chair would entertain a motion to recommend to the Board of Commissioners adoption of Resolution 23-06, a resolution honoring the Michigan Association of Counties.
So moved.
Moved by Calton, support?
Support Campbell.
Support by Campbell. Motion by Calton, support by Campbell, to recommend to the Board of Commissioners adoption of Resolution 23-06, a resolution honoring the Michigan Association of Counties. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Absolutely, thank you. Next on our agenda, a resolution for the formation of the Berry County Land Bank. Good morning, Jennifer.
Hi. Sorry I'm late. I had another meeting this morning. I am here to ask for permission to start the Berry County Land Bank. We've been working on this, well, I think about 2 years now. And what a land bank will do for us is we'll be able to take properties and put them into the land bank, and then they automatically become eligible for all of the incentives that go along with brownfields. So we will be able to do environmental costs, demolition, abatement, infrastructure, site prep, the cost of the property in some cases, title work, and subsidies for construction costs. So we're not asking for any money, we're not asking the county to really do anything other than we need the county treasurer to sign on as chair. We need to sign an agreement with the state land bank to be able to create our own land bank. So at this point, we need to just submit a resolution saying that we're going to have one. And we want to be able to have a tool that developers are able to come in, put property into it, and then be able to get all of these incentives. And then they will, once the incentives are done, we've got all of the infrastructure in place, then the property will revert back to the developer. So we're trying to increase the housing stock. We think this is going to be just a tool to help us do that and to entice developers to come to our area. I think you've gotten all of the information in the packet.
Yeah. And housing continues to be a critical piece that we're trying to solve in the county. Being on the EDA board, we have been working on this for several years. It's kind of gone back and forth. And a lot of it was understanding the benefits of what this really brings to us. We need more tools for our developers to come in and attract them. We're competing with other counties and other areas. The state does have a land bank authority, but the state also keeps all of the revenue, profit, and benefits from that. This will allow us to kind of create a small revenue stream at first, but it certainly makes us more attractive to builders, developers, people that come in from a regional area to help develop properties in Berry County. So it's going to take a little bit to get the wheels turning on it, to educate people on what this does and how it is, but it's just another tool for us to help expand what we're doing in the county with housing. Yes, sir.
On the revenue stream, would that be from monies from Brownfield?
No. So the Brownfield Board will be the board of the land bank, but right now we're not planning on getting any money into it. We want to use it just as a tool, but there will be money coming in from grants. So right now, for example, the blight elimination grant, if we had had a land bank in place, we would have automatically gotten $200,000 from the state, but because we didn't have the land bank established, we have to go through a competitive grant process to get those dollars. And we know that there are other grants that are going to be coming down, so we will have money going into it, but right now we don't have any plans for money going out of it.
Thank you. And one other question. In any way, does this speed up the foreclosure process and a disadvantage to the owner?
We don't plan on working with foreclosed properties because the county has so few. And right now, the county is able to sell those properties at more than what they were valued. So we're not trying to step on the county's toes. We just want it to be a tool that developers can use to get those properties put into, get the incentives, same as a brownfield.
Oh, it would be the developer that put it into the land bank then?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
So are these industrial sites, regular kind of business sites like an old gas station, or residential sites? What kind of?
Both. Any property can go into it. But we do have the Brownfield Authority established also, so if there were environmental issues, we could look at it from that lens too, and hopefully we'll get another EPA grant so that we'll be able to help with remediation of environmental. But if not, then it could go into the land bank and it would still be eligible for TIF funding.
Okay, can a residential property, are any of those applicable to brownfield?
Can they, yes, they
Like-
can be brownfields, yep.
Thank you.
Commissioner
don't.
Doster, you look perplexed.
I am. Okay, so someone just hypotheticals here, so I can kind of grasp what it is that you're doing. Someone buys a property that was an abandoned gas station. They buy it for a song because it has no value, has negative value.
Yes,
They come, they give this property for a short period of time, then they deed it over
yes,
to this organization.
yes.
The organization then uses the funds of the government to clean up the site.
Well, no, so they will deed it over to us, and then they actually are going to pay for the infrastructure, but say
Is
the
the
developer
developer?
will
Okay.
still pay for it, but then there will be a TIF put in place, so.
TIF
the-
is,
The tax increment financing.
Okay.
So if it is valued at 10,000 when they buy it, and then they do all of the work, and say, it just for sake of numbers, it's worth 100,000 at the end, the difference between that 10,000 and the 100,000 that they would have gotten on taxes, they're not going to have to pay 50% of that over whatever the agreement is with the land bank for that many years. So say it takes 10 years, they'll be able to recoup their money over those 10 years to get back whatever the cost of that initial investment was.
okay, so you somehow determine what the improved value is, and then you charge the developer over a period of time.
And every project is going to be different, and we'll have to have all of these agreements
And
in
there's no
place.
interest on that, that's just a
Correct.
a
Yep,
straight,
correct.
okay. This, And Berry County probably would not have an enormous number of these, correct, or?
Well, right now, for example, we're looking at the Baby Bliss project in Middleville, where potentially they could put that whole property into our land bank, and then they are basically going to get paid back for tearing down those buildings, putting in the water, the sidewalks, the roads, getting all of the improvements done, so that they're not paying all of those costs up front. They are paying them, but they're not going to be on the hook for them long-term. So then a TIF will be put in place, so once they build this new project that's $15 million or whatever the case, then the township will be getting 50% of that tax financing, and they will be getting the other half until their initial investment is paid back.
Okay.
So it's, everybody makes more money in the end because of the development piece of it.
Yeah, and that is why we, or this board that we would be granting these powers to, does not have the right of eminent domain then, right? Because the government is not going to become permanent owner of the thing, and you have to guarantee to the developer that the government, even though they put in this money, that they're not have an interest in it.
Yes,
that they
and we
get
will
it
have
back.
governmental agreements. With every project will be different, but we'll decide what the percentage of the TIF is, how many years it is. All of that will be different with each project, and that's gonna be a negotiation between the land bank and the developers. We'll decide all of that ahead of time. All of this will have to go through the attorneys, and then it will come back. So there's not gonna be any questions of when they get their property back, any of that.
Okay. And this board that you're planning on taking over these roles already exists?
Everywhere, yeah, there
You have
are
a-
many of them.
It's your economic development
Oh,
board?
the
or-
board for our land bank is
Yeah.
the Brownfield Redevelopment Board.
Okay, of which already we have 2 county commissioners on?
Yeah, I'm on the Brownfield Board.
Just one county commissioner?
Yes.
Was there somewhere in here a description of what that board had to consist of? Does that comply with that?
It does, yep.
Okay. That there's one county, then there's like 3 people that are at large or something,
Yes.
and there's a representative of the government unit that's involved or something?
Yes,
Okay.
and we strategically went around the county, so
Okay.
all of the communities are represented.
And you already comply with the Open Meeting Act
We do,
and
yep.
the, just trying to think of the other rules that this board would have to comply with, discrimination.
It's very
Anti-
specific.
okay.
We have 30 days to have bylaws in place. We have 30 days, yes.
And you will become a new entity under this?
Yes.
You have to get a DBA or something?
No, we'll actually be under the county, and Michael may have to help me with how this whole thing works, but we will be under the county, but it will be its own organization. And then we have decided as a group that we would like the financials to run through the county, because with having no money, we won't be able to afford annual audits. So the county's just going to handle that for us.
And you're the executive director then?
I'm the president of Chamber and EDA.
Who would be the
Sue-
executive director
Sue will
of
need
this?
to be Sue Vandekar, the
Oh.
county treasurer, will need to be the chair of the new
Okay.
entity.
And all of this is non-compensated, this board? Is that
Correct.
correct? Even
Yes.
even the chair?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Correct. Good questions. Further questions?
You might just want to clarify, this doesn't have to be brownfield. So this is a technique that could also apply to a vacant piece of land that a developer might want to acquire. The biggest burden to plat development is getting the infrastructure in. So this is a tool that could be used to help them fund the infrastructure and then recover that as the project is built out.
I see.
Correct.
Thank you.
Do you think that's the biggest drawback, that people don't come here because we don't have the infrastructure already
I
in
think it's
place?
A big drawback.
Yeah.
Because the upfront costs are just astronomical in
Exactly.
some of the cases. Mhm.
And this will help
Yes.
in that regard.
Okay. Perfect. Further questions? Okay.
This is for a 5-year term or something? Is that correct?
We'll have the land bank as long as we want it. We would have to go through
But
all
this
of this.
the authorization, the document that you want us to pass, had a term for 5 years or something.
The way I read it was that it only dissolves if we dissolve it.
Oh,
So
okay.
it'll
It
just renew
automatically
itself.
returns
Yes.
or
yeah.
renews? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. The chair would entertain a motion to recommend to the Board of Commissioners adoption of Resolution 23-07, a resolution to approve the formation of the Berry County Land Bank Authority.
So moved.
Moved by Getty, support by Hatfield, to recommend to the Board of Commissioners adoption of Resolution 23-07, a resolution to approve the formation of the Berry County Land Bank and Authority. Discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. Next on our agenda, letters of support for the Robin Broadband Grant applications.
In this instance, we're just asking for letters of support for both Comcast Business and MEI to apply for the state funds through the Robin Grant. We are trying to get the county connected completely with high-speed internet, and there's a lot of money coming down the pike for these projects. So we do know that 2 of our providers are going to be applying and just asking for support. I don't know the amounts that they're applying in yet. We need to go through and determine how many homes are not currently served that would qualify for the grant. I have submitted a template to Michael and just asking that you will support us sending a letter of support.
And if I remember right, the Robin Grant is a state grant of like $250 million, and they can apply for up to 30 million, or is there no cap on what they can apply for?
They can apply for 30 to 60 million.
30 to 60 million. So, and potentially, we know that MEI is one of the providers, and you said Comcast was potentially the other one?
Yes.
So there's no guarantees they will get the grants, but we want to support them. One of them, I think Comcast is literally looking to build out the entire county in the underserved areas of the market. So that would be a huge win for Berry County if we could make that happen. So I think it's very worthy of our letter of support to go out to them as soon as possible. So to both organizations, because we don't know at this point if any, all, or whatever will be the result, but, you know.
And I've already spoke with Bob. We have also requested this of all of our elected officials from the state level too.
Thanks for your work on that, too.
Yes, thank you.
Further questions for
And
Jennifer?
you, Commissioner, and Getty, and Chairman, both you guys have been working on this, too, so.
Commissioner Smelker?
Is there going to be resolutions from townships, or that not necessary?
We are working with them. We're asking all of the townships to contribute some of their ARPA dollars because there does need to be at least a 30% match. So looking to see if we can raise those funds. I don't know how much I can say about it, but one of the providers doesn't know how they would get to the 30%. The other provider said that they choose to invest more, so they're hoping to get 50%. So we need to come up with some funds to help them once they apply, is what I'm saying. So we're reaching out to all of the townships to ask them for contributions towards the projects.
And we won't know. They're not asking for a commitment. They're asking for a commitment, but the commitment isn't effective. They don't need us to cut a check within the next month. They're
Within 4 years.
within 4 years, so. Was it 30% or was it 15%?
Well, so they said 15% required, but 30% is kind of the ground floor where everybody else is applying. So the more points you get.
Okay. So the more matching funds there are, the more attractive you become?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Commissioner Getty?
The matching funds don't have to come from townships or county. Those matching funds could come from the provider themselves, correct?
Yes, yep.
Right.
And we're
Their
also.
investment in the project.
Yes, and we've already met with some private industry too to see if we can get some assistance that way.
And then the work that's been done over the last couple of years to identify the unserved and underserved, that provided sort of the ground map
Yes.
of this, so this could move forward. So,
Yes.
I mean, appreciate all your work that
Thank
you
you.
did in that, because that's been quite a bit.
Yes, thank you.
And it's been quite a project because the window to apply is so short. It's only 60 days, and I don't know if we're quite halfway to that 60 days, but it's a very small window.
March 15th, I believe, is the deadline.
Additional questions?
No, I don't know if all the townships seem the same, are in the same mood as like Rutland, who's gonna put a lot of money towards this project. And you go to different townships, I don't know if they see the same need or importance that there is. Because when these kids were out of school, a lot of parents had no means of being able to do homeschooling. So it is a very important thing that we do try to get this throughout Berry County.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Tennyson, was that what your comments were 2 weeks ago regarding this subject? Were these the grants you were referring
Yes,
to?
it
That
was.
you'd spoken with your state rep and?
Yeah,
that these were
and Jennifer,
I see.
both. Yep, and did not know that Dave and Catherine have been working diligently on this too, okay? So at the time, and I didn't mean to step on their toes, but.
Nope.
The more help, the better.
But I really appreciate your work on it.
Thank you. You too.
Absolutely. Okay. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the attached letter of support on behalf of Comcast Business's application to the Michigan Robin Grant Program.
So moved.
Motion by Hatfield, support by Getty, to approve the attached, to recommend to the Board of Commissioners. No, this is to approve the attached letter of support on behalf of Comcast Business application to the Michigan Robin Grant. Is there further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. The other letter, the chair would entertain a motion to approve the attached letter of support on behalf of Berry County Services Company's application to the Michigan Robin Grant.
So moved.
Support Campbell.
Motion by Hatfield, support by Cantfield, to approve the attached letter of support on, what?
Campfield?
Cantfield? Hatfield? Campbell? Hatfield. Trying to save time here, trying to save time. To approve the attached letter of support on behalf of Berry County Services Company application of the Michigan Robin Grant. Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And finally, resolution to apply for the USDA grant.
Okay, this one is a bit different. If you all remember a few months back, I don't remember the date, but the Antero Group, our consultants that we're working with, came in and we did a caravan through the county, looking at each community individually and what each of them are looking for to improve their communities. So since then, we have decided that we would like to apply for a USDA Business Development Grant, and this needs to be applied for through a municipality, similar with the NTIA grant, where we'll actually write it, but Michael needs to submit it for us, basically. So we are asking for $100,000 from the USDA for a planning grant that will help us with all of these various projects in the communities. And we want to be able to go do corridor studies in Woodland, Delton, and Nashville especially, but they're going to go through the entire county and look at what the infrastructure needs are and then get us a plan to work toward those goals. So what I'm asking for now, I have a whole packet of things here. I would like a permission to apply through the county, and then we also have an application, the attorney's opinion, a resolution, an equal opportunity employer statement, an assurances agreement, and 2 grant certifications, which those 2 are just formalities really. But this is what I would need from Michael. So just hoping that you will allow me to apply for this through Michael.
Michael, I noticed this resolution does not have a number to it. It's 23 dash blank.
Whatever you want.
That's correct, and we did that. I've forwarded the materials to our attorney to take a review. You'll notice also that it's a resolution that's a little different than one that I haven't seen before. It talks about stockholders and members, and we will need to use a resolution. I'm just not certain that this is the exact resolution that we'll use. It may be, so between now and next Tuesday,
Okay.
I'm working with the attorney to get that detail, have him review the documents and get that detail, at which time, when the motion is on the agenda for next Tuesday, there will be a resolution number.
Okay, perfect. Questions? Commissioner Getty?
Is there any match to this
No,
grant?
no,
This is 100%.
no match for this one. And it's due next Tuesday. So I'm hoping to get as much of this done as possible, and then once you approve it, then we can just send the resolution along as kind of a final piece.
So my other question, just follow up on that, is that these planning processes, it's going to create a report, and then it will allow, it'll provide those materials for communities like Woodland to apply for grants, to apply.
Yes.
Because they're such small communities, they're not often able to do these planning processes on their own.
Yeah, so this is a planning grant, and then once we get the plan, then there will be implementation grants also. And then we'll apply for those on their behalf. So I may be coming back.
Yeah, exponentially, this can bring a lot of resources to a small community.
Yes.
No, I echo Commissioner Getty's comments there that the smaller communities just don't have the resources, the wherewithal, the know-how to do some of this stuff. So to have our EDA board and chamber working with them, especially on a grant like this could be potentially very powerful going forward, just to give them some direction, to let them know what's available, and to kind of collaborate some resources to make some things happen. So really appreciate you working on that and bringing that to us. So, additional comments, questions? The chair would entertain a motion to recommend to the Board of Commissioners adoption of Resolution 23- to be named in the future, resolution to apply for USDA Rural Business Development Grant for Rural Berry County Economic Development Strategy.
So moved, Doster.
Motion by Doster,
Second.
go ahead. Support by Getty, to recommend to the Board of Commissioners adoption of Resolution 23- to a resolution to apply for USDA Rural Business Development Grant for Rural Berry County Economic Development Strategy. Discussion. Hearing none. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Jennifer. Appreciate all your continued work and effort there.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
We provide a significant amount of financial support to the Chamber and Economic Development Alliance. And over the years, I know at times we've struggled with why, and I think today you just saw a good example of why. We're very fortunate to have Jennifer with us. She is extraordinarily energetic and knowledgeable, and I think we greatly benefit from her services, and frankly, without our support, she would not be able to do what she does. So,
You're here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Public comment. At this time, any member of the public wishing to address the board may do so for up to 3 minutes. Good morning, Shelley.
Good morning. Shelley Lake, Irving Township, and I just wanted to let you know that the Berry County Republican Party attended the state convention this last Friday and Saturday, where delegates from all across the state were there. There were thousands of delegates, media. It's pretty amazing. But Friday night we had our caucus and elected in 2 members of our county, which we should be very proud of. John Rocha for the 2nd Congressional District committeeman. There were 3 of them. And then Cindy Twitchell will be on the executive committee, bringing her knowledge of the Constitution. And then just to let you know, for Michigan GOP, the chairwoman elected is Christina Caramo. So she'll serve for the next 2 years. So we're hoping there will now be some unity, and I think there are 20 counties in our district, will come together and just bring some peace and happiness back. So I just wanted to say I'm really proud of our folks. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelley. Additional public comment. Hearing none, we have come to the end of our agenda. We have commissioner comments. Commissioner Tunison?
Just regarding the broadband, that would do nothing but help Berry County. The amount of people that come here and all of a sudden they say, well, I can't move there in that area because I can't get high-speed internet. So this will do nothing but help Berry County if we can get some money through this.
Thank you. Commissioner Campbell?
Just want to let everybody know I'm going to Florida.
Can we go?
Yeah.
By orders of my wife, a higher command. But I just want everybody to know that I won't be here to vote, but I do strongly support what was taken on today, and especially the broadband.
Vice Chair Hatfield?
I have nothing.
I agree with
Commissioner
Mr.
Smoker?
Hatfield. I have nothing.
Commissioner Getty?
I just want to echo Commissioner Hatfield's comments about the EDA and Chamber. We see that money as an investment and not a handout to a department, but under Jennifer's leadership and the presidents before her, we have seen that money come back manyfold to the county. Not just the events that happen, but through the grants that they're able to procure. And I know that I'm sure everyone has received a lot of correspondence from residents around the county that haven't had internet and are very impatient to get it, and have been frustrated with how long the process is. But the groundwork that's been laid over the last several years is, led us to this opportunity to bring providers in, and the relationships that have been built through the Broadband Committee and especially through Jennifer's leadership. So Commissioner Hatfield was much more eloquent than I am, but thank you to the EDA and Chamber for getting us to this point.
Commissioner Colton? Commissioner Doster?
Do we have, I'm trying to think where we are on our process of these interviews. We still have mental health yet to do, is that correct?
That's not due till March, so I don't think.
Oh, it's not due to March?
I think that's when the opening is.
Oh, I see.
used to sit on that board.
Yeah.
It's the only reason I know.
Well, I know that it hasn't been really determined whether there's one or two openings yet on that, but, and then we're still planning to have a series of presentations from our department heads then to the next board meetings?
I know community mental health is scheduled to come in at some point in the near future. So we'll continue to have those departments come in throughout the year, typically at BOCs.
Well, it might behoove us to have them come in prior to the appointment.
Good. It's always good to get that education. Absolutely. I am going to go to Florida with Commissioner Campbell next week, I've decided, so I will not be here next week either. So Commissioner Campbell Hatfield will be leading us next week. So again, thanks to Jennifer. I have a question for you afterwards too. But be careful. Our weather looks very entertaining the next couple days, so be safe, be weather aware. Look like we're scheduled to get a lot of freezing rain, which is kind of the worst between snow and rain. So anyways, we appreciate your attendance and your smiles. And if we can do anything, let us know. Have a great day. We are adjourned.